Welcome to the Multi-Orgasmic Mama podcast, where sexual taboos are broken. I'm Tilly Storm, holistic sex coach and jade egg and tantric sex teacher. I work with luxury lovers, teaching them the art of better sacred sex by helping them remove all their blocks to pleasure, turn on confidence and connection, so they can step into their fullest potential and power as humans and alchemists in the 3D. If you'd like to learn how to release shame and guilt destroying your sex life so you can feel fully sexually liberated and free, you can access my How to Release Shame and Guilt training at www.tillystorm.com/shame. This episode is brought to you by the Sensually Embodied Woman Collective. If you're ready to remove all your blocks to pleasure, turn on and feeling confident and sexy in your body through my paid programs and offerings, then head to www.tillystorm.com today. Hello, my loves. Welcome to the podcast. It's Tilly here, and today we're talking about porn star syndrome and how to show up authentically in the bedroom. I've had several clients in the past that have really struggled with performance anxiety, performance pressure, feeling like they need to look like and perform how they have seen in porn before. But before we go into that, I want to remind you all about our monthly events. I would love to see you at some of our events coming up. You can sign up for any of the events by going to www.tillystorm.com/event. And if you sign up, you will get reminders about events coming up that we will be sharing with you as time goes on. All right, let's get to it. People aren't authentic when they aren't okay in themselves, and then when they're not confident. How many of you don't feel confident in the bedroom, where you feel like, I don't have orgasms quickly enough, or you're constantly in your head thinking, I wonder what my partner's thinking, or I wonder what's going through their head right now. And you're so focused on what your partner is experiencing that you aren't in your body, so you're not embodied, and you aren't connected to pleasure sensations themselves. It's one thing to have sex when you are up in your headspace, and that's how most people have sex throughout their entire life, and I feel sorry for them, because sex, when it comes from a very heady space, it's not embodied and it doesn't feel as good. I think most of you would agree with me that the best sex you've ever had, if you can even just stop for a minute right now and think about the best sex you've ever had, it was probably because you weren't thinking. You weren't worried what your partner was thinking. You weren't worried how you looked, any of that business, but you were just in the moment and present. This is why so many people struggle with having better sex when they're high, or when they have a glass of wine, or when they've had some sort of substance to help them chill out. Because there's the sense when you get high, or when you've had a glass of wine, of no fucks given, I don't care anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Just not giving a fuck. And it's harder to not give a fuck about what you look like, or all of these thoughts that we have going on when we don't have some substance to help us get there. And this is because we generally live from a very critical, judgy place. We're constantly assessing ourselves. We're constantly checking in, like, okay, how does my hair look? Is my makeup okay? Do I have lipstick on my teeth? All of that sort of stuff. Am I doing it right? Am I taking too long? He's not going to want to do oral on me anymore because I'm taking 30 minutes, and all of these thoughts that we have going through our head. Now, let's talk what is porn star syndrome in the first place. If you have ever been that person that has said or has thought any of those things that I have just said, then you probably might have porn star syndrome. It's all about how you look. It's all about the show and flash. It's all about the orgasm. It's all about the end result. It's all about the fireworks. It's all about being the best you possibly can be. Almost like perfectionism. Porn star syndrome is not authentic. It is not genuine. And it makes women feel terrible. It makes them feel like they're not good enough. It makes men feel the same way too. But I know most of you listening are women. So it makes you feel incongruent. Like, part of you wants to be in your body and experience what it's like to just feel pleasure running through your body. But the other part is like, no, we can't do that because we constantly have to be on guard and look perfect. Otherwise, they might leave us. Or otherwise, they'll find something else to be interested in besides us. There's generally a fear that we're not good enough, and if we're not good enough, there's an abandonment wound. Because in the past, if you didn't have a wonderful father, or if your father wasn't very present in your life, or if your father didn't grow up with you and didn't raise you, then there might seriously be this fear of abandonment, that if I am not good enough in every way, shape, and form, the partner in my life might leave. And this is something that's real for many, many people. And the way that it shows up is faking orgasms. It shows up in pretending like you're super well versed in sexuality, but deep down you have no idea what actually turns you on and what feels good. So you just pretend that everything does, and you pretend to have orgasms, you fake them, you tell your partner, oh, it's great, when actually it was terrible. All of those things. How do you get over it then? Well, that's the question of the day. If you want to get out of porn star syndrome, feeling like you're wearing masks to show up and present yourself as some beautiful, pristine version of sexuality that you think you should be in order to keep a partner around, the way that you get past that is by going within and learning to love your body and feeling confident in who you are. Until you have learned who you are and what you want, and you know who you are with a sense of conviction. Oh, that is so sexy to the right people. That knowing who you are. I when I was dating, I remember seeing quite a few dating profiles of men that were like, I only want a woman who knows who she is. Or, like, I'm only interested in dating people who have figured out who they are and what they want in life. And that's because so many women don't know who they are or what they want. And I don't mean just sexually. I mean, they don't know anything about themselves. They don't understand the deeper aspects that make up our own interpersonal world. They don't understand their inner child. They're not connected to their inner child. They don't understand where their thoughts and conditioning come from. They've just gone blindly through life, picking up certain beliefs and thoughts about the world, about their bodies, about their sexuality, about their pleasure, but they have no idea why they think or why they believe the things that they do. And what it means to truly know yourself, because knowing yourself gives you a sense of inner confidence. What does it mean to truly know yourself? It means to understand why you believe the things that you do, to question why you believe those things, and to decide to believe something else if it no longer serves you. That's what it means to know yourself, in my opinion. I'm sure there are many different interpretations of what it means to know yourself, but in terms of helping you get out of porn star syndrome and start feeling like you can show up authentically in the bedroom and express how you really feel and not feel like you have to fake an orgasm just to keep your partner around. Oh my God, what a freaking prison you're living in. You're living in that prison because you haven't dove into the underlying beliefs and the programming that has gone on in your unconscious mind that is creating that experience in the first place. And what it takes is diving in and questioning, why do I believe that? Why do I have these thoughts and opinions? Why do I have this sense of I have to fake everything just to keep my partner around? Well, let's dive into that. Let's figure that out. That is what knowing yourself means. Knowing where you come from, why you feel the way you do, why you experience life in the way that you do, so that you can take responsibility for it. Because the number one step in getting you out of porn star syndrome so you can feel that you can show up authentically and genuinely in your relationships and sex life is awareness. Being aware of what has made you who you are and what you want to create for yourself going forward. If you're not aware, you can't be a conscious creator. You can't consciously create an amazing sex life or an amazing relationship with your partner if you aren't conscious and aware of what's made it not so great in the first place. Okay, so now that I've gone off on a whole tangent about what it means to know who you are deep down, because this is the foundational building block to confidence, to being confident in yourself. So how can you go from porn star syndrome to feeling confident in who you are? Number one, get aware of why you believe what you believe and shift that. Become aware of it and start to shift your beliefs for those that aren't serving you and what you want, okay? The second thing, if you want to be able to show up genuinely and authentically in the bedroom, is that you want to move towards a sense of confidence. Well, how do you get confident? You get confident by getting fun comfortable. Fun comfortable is one of my favorite words because I love to push people past their comfort zones. If you're staying in your comfort zone, you're not growing. If you're in your comfort zone, you're not expanding. If you're not on the edge of something that feels a little uncomfortable, then you are not pushing past limiting beliefs and circumstances that have you feeling trapped in porn star syndrome in the first place. So you gotta get fun comfortable and start doing things that feel vulnerable, that feel a little like, oh my gosh, I'm actually going to let my partner give me oral and not give a fuck about how long it's gonna take. And when you're in that experience, you're gonna start to feel the discomfort. You're gonna start to feel where you're blocked and where you would normally just fake an orgasm or pretend like it was the best experience you ever had when deep down you know that's not the truth. And you're going to feel into that block. Where do you feel it in your body? I want you to tune into your body. Maybe even put a hand over where you feel it. You'll probably feel it in your gut, your pelvis, your chest, your head, wherever you feel it, that urge. Oh, like, oh my gosh, I have to, here we are, here's the moment. And I have to fake it. I have to tell my partner that everything's great when it's really not. I want you to feel the urge to do it. How does it sensationally show up in your body? And can you become aware of that sensation and to use the 3 holistic sex tools, the first 3 of breath, sound, and movement? How can you connect with that urge and sensation to pretend like it's okay and like you're having an orgasm and you're faking it, or whatever it is you're feeling, that performance pressure? Feel it in your body and then go, okay, how can I breathe into this sensation? Open up your breath, like literally start breathing into it and just going, deep connected breath in and out of your mouth. Open up your jaw, open up your mouth, and just start breathing into the discomfort. And when you do, then you're going to bring in your sound. How can I start sounding this discomfort out? And let your breath take over. And even if it feels like you're not experiencing any pleasure here because this is super uncomfortable, can it be pleasurable? Could it be? It actually could, if you could just let yourself sound. So you want to pretend that feeling that you're feeling in the body, where you feel you have to shut down and put a mask on and pretend. Okay, you're breathing into it, you're feeling it, you're being conscious of it, you're being aware of it, and then you're pretending that if that feeling could voice something that wasn't words, if it could just have a voice, if I could just let it move through my mouth, and what would it say? What would it sound like? What would it do? And in that moment, and just breathing through the discomfort and then letting your body move, which is the 3rd holistic sex technique I was telling you about. So just moving that sensation through your body. And you don't need to understand why you're feeling, you don't need to attach a story to it, I guess is what I should be saying. You don't need to story your experience to move through the uncomfortable experience. You don't need to story your experience to heal your experience. Actually, when you bring it into story, that totally messes up the whole healing process in the first place, because we don't heal sexual blocks on a cortical thinking, logical thinking mind level. Oh my gosh, how many times can I say this? You don't heal sexual blocks and trauma by talking about it. You heal it by feeling it, letting it move through your body, breathing through it, even though it's a little uncomfortable. It gets to be fun, comfortable, sounding it, letting it move through your body. And then, oh, wow. Oh my goodness. If you can just let yourself feel it, breathe through it, sound it, move it, I promise you, you're gonna have a breakthrough. Because when we are showing up in porn star syndrome, feeling like we have to be perfect, and if we're not, we're just gonna fake it anyway so our partner doesn't leave, what you're probably feeling is a fear of abandonment, a fear of being judged, or something of the sort. And that fear is so embedded in your body that it comes out and like it creates a wall around your pleasure capacity. And your body's like, nope, we can't really go into pleasure because there's fear around being real and authentic and genuine in our experiences of pleasure. Because maybe my partner would think I look stupid, or I sound silly, or I don't orgasm enough, or my orgasm isn't pleasurable and sounding enough to my partner. Any of those thoughts and feelings, you know, if you have them, okay, you get to work through them by bringing conscious, connected breathing through them, sounding through them, and letting them move through the body. And what if you're one of those people that are just like, well, I don't really feel anything in my body when I experience that because I'm so in my head, I'm not connected to sensation. Well, here's the solution, my dear. You can practice this before you ever show up in a sexual experience with your partner by doing this body meditation. And how you do it is you set a timer for 5 minutes, turn on some music if it helps. If it doesn't, leave that out. You turn on some music or not, and you lie down on your bed, on the floor, on a yoga mat, I don't care where, and you start speaking the sensations you feel in your body and where you feel them for 5 minutes straight. This trains your mind to, instead of go after thoughts in your mind, you're utilizing the mind's ability to think, but you're directing those thoughts to a very specific thing, which is sensation, which is what we want to get you into. So you can use your mind as an ally here and tell your mind to, instead of letting the thoughts pass through, you can give your mind the job of noticing, what do I feel in my body? Where do I feel it? So for 5 minutes, you're sitting there. I feel tightness in my throat. I feel tension in my gut. I feel a heaviness on my shoulders. I feel heaviness in my eyelids. I feel itchy on my face from my hair. I feel the coolness of the air on the surface of my arm, my left arm. I feel a little bit of warmth in my pussy. And you just keep going like that for 5 minutes straight. So you're giving your mind a job. You're not denying your mind something that it wants to do. It wants to think about things, but you're giving it a very direct job, which is, instead of staying in the head thinking certain thoughts that aren't serving you, you're giving it the job of looking for sensation in the body itself. And when you train yourself to connect with sensation in the body, it becomes easier in your sexual experience. So like I said earlier, when you are in a sexual experience with your partner and you catch yourself wanting to fake it, wanting to look like the perfect porn star, or do that certain porn star move, or be the perfect sexual figure you think that your partner wants from you. When you feel that, or when you hear that thought, however it is you experience that thought, you go into the body, you say, okay, in that moment, what am I feeling right now? Where am I feeling it? And then you bring in your breath, sound, movement, breathing into the sensation that feels uncomfortable, and then sounding it as if you could give it a voice, and then letting it move through your body. And I promise you, if you can connect to that and do that 4-step process that I just explained to you, connecting with the sensation, bringing breath to it, breathing through it, sounding it, and moving it, you will have a sort of breakthrough. And this is the breakthrough in order for you to go through porn star perfectionism syndrome to, okay, this is what it's like to really experience my fear around my sexuality, the fear of showing up authentically, the fear of being abandoned, whatever it is for you. You just need to feel it to heal it, my loves. Okay, so remember, if you would like to learn more amazing things like this, please sign up for our monthly events at www.tillystorm.com/event, and you will get notifications on when our next events will be. We would love to have you so that you can experience me live and on video, because obviously this is just a podcast and you don't often see me on here, so it's a great way to connect more personally and see if working with me might be right for you. All right, my loves. See you all next week. Bye.